Hello, I'm Lital Pescar from the Center for Learning Innovation at Illinois Institute of Technology. And today we're going to discuss students' engagement and online teaching. First of all, what is students' engagement? So when we talk about student engagement, we usually refer to the level of interest students show toward the topic being taught, their interaction with the content, instructors, and peers, and their motivation to learn and progress through the course. However, why is it even important to engage and be engaged in the classroom? A wide variety of research studies on learning have revealed the connections between so-called non-cognitive factors or non-cognitive skills, such as motivation, interest, curiosity, and work habits, and cognitive learning results, such as improved academic performance, test scores, and information recall. In other words, learning improves when students are inquisitive, interested, or inspired. In contrast, learning tends to suffer when students are bored, dispassionate, disaffected, or otherwise disengaged. Research also provides evidence that there is a connection between higher student engagement and persistence and retention in the course. This is especially meaningful in the online environment, where attrition rates are higher than in the face-to-face settings. And finally, when students are engaged, the class is exciting and the students want to be part of the course on an ongoing basis. This also means that the students give you and the school outstanding evaluations. However, how does all of this translate into online teaching? Research into effective online instruction offers us three conclusions. Online instruction can be just as effective as traditional instruction. To do so, online courses need cooperative or collaborative active learning and strong instructor presence. In the rest of this section, I will review some recommendations for keeping students engaged in blended teaching. This review will be organized around four themes. 1. Instructor communication. 2. Curriculum design. 3. Class atmosphere. And 4. Technology. As you will see, there are many ways and approaches, and we do not expect you to follow all of these recommendations. Rather, choose what fits your personality, materials, and time. In general, remember that approaches which take students' perspectives into account will produce better outcomes than those which attempt to recreate a campus-based experience online. We suggest you'll rely on innovative creative thinking, as on new approaches and digital tools. First, instructor communication. There is a risk that students might feel isolated. For instance, they may get frustrated if they don't know how and when to contact you. They may also get discouraged if they don't know their progress in the course or if expectations aren't clearly communicated. In order to keep students engaged, use these strategies. Make first contact before the course begins. Before the first session, send an email message to introduce yourself. You can add a personal touch by including a short video, relaying the same information, so students can get a sense of your personality. You should also provide instructions on how to get started with the course. Establish contact methods and hours. Be present in discussion forums or blogs. Your response in these forums let students know that you are interested in what they have to say, that you are active in the course, and that you can be dependent upon. Provide directions often and in various ways. Students may face additional distractions when completing online coursework from their home. It is therefore important to be clear and concise with your directions and expectations. Set simple and consistent expectations. For instance, explicitly articulate learning objectives and goals and be transparent around performance expectations and criteria-based grading systems. Provide effective and timely feedback. Feedback helps students feel a sense of progress and rescues them from isolation. Instructors, TAs, or peers should provide feedback on all assignments with suggestions for improvements and kudos for good work. 2. Curriculum design. Effective online coursework requires an intentional, thoughtful approach to instructional design. First of all, teach students how to learn. Not all students arrive at college with the skills to learn. You might want to help them develop self-discipline and other self-regulatory behaviors. For instance, give your students a set of questions to consider while doing their first several reading assignments. This will help them learn to distinguish key ideas from minutiae, to cultivate the kind of metacognitive behaviors you want them to have, and to become more effective and critical readers in your discipline. Explain your educational purpose. If students know why they're doing an activity and how it will impact them, they're more likely to invest themselves in it and complete the work. Instructors should therefore provide not only the goal, but also the rationale for the assignment, explaining how it will help students learn and why it is being done in this specific way. Focus on active learning options. Many students, particularly young or more inexperienced students coming from secondary school, are used to being spoon-fed information, an approach which is difficult when teaching an online course. Students should be encouraged to see themselves as creator of their own learning journey, rather than being passive receptors of teachers' learning. This means using assignments that ask students to do something, such as work in a group, solve a problem, prepare a project, and experience a situation. This will make them more likely to produce student engagement in his or her learning. Make class knowledge relevant and applicable. Increase task relevance for students by making connections to their lives and experiences and interests, or through personalization. The task should create a need to know for students and give them a reason for doing the task. You can also support student autonomy within the task by providing opportunities to make choices that are consistent with the student's interests. Break down content. Neuroscience has proven that our attention span is 10 minutes. After that, our attention starts to wane. Chunking content into 10-minute segments and then allowing them 10 minutes to digest is the best way to learn. And use user-generated content. The idea here is that users generate content and reflect on their own as well as others' contributions. Rather than sitting quietly, listening to the teacher and taking notes, students are forced to participate in activities. User-generated content can include discussion boards, asking students to design tests and assignments, and many other options. 3. Class atmosphere. Engagement increases when students feel like they belong and are part of something with like-minded people. When an online course requires community participation, students have more opportunities to connect with instructors and fellow students, discuss coursework, help each other through struggles, share ideas, and most importantly, become more engaged. Research found that when an online course included an online community component, students were 5 times more engaged and 16 times more likely to finish the course. In contrast, students may become disengaged if they feel isolated or if they don't get to interact with their instructors and peers. It is therefore important to build assignments in which students interact with each other and the content of the course. This approach has multiple benefits, from encouraging students to claim responsibility for their work and increasing understanding of grading criteria and encouraging discussions and debate among peers. Some ways to create this interaction is to create an introductory activity, designing opportunities for group work online, and having students provide feedback to each other. It is also important to establish belonging for all students in your class. Instructors should recognize students' varied identities, experiences, and backgrounds, and work to create a space where students are both challenged and heard. Treat each student as an individual. Do not expect them to speak for an entire demographic group or make suppositions about their membership in one. Address challenging classroom behaviors and attitudes, such as microaggressions and offensive and alienating comments. Make it a teachable moment, asking students to reflect critically on assumptions and positions without attributing motives. Establish community agreements and discussion guidelines. Work with students to create those guidelines to promote an inclusive learning environment. Finally, technology. Explain Blackboard use. To help students thrive online, give them an introduction to online learning, IIT's Blackboard, and their online course. Explain how online learning is different from the traditional classroom experience. Show them how to find materials, assignments, and assessments, and how to communicate with their instructor and fellow students. Do the same with any additional program or app you expect them to use throughout the class. Use a variety of multimedia and modalities. You will have different types of learning in your course, and using a variety of content delivery methods and learning activities will help keep them all engaged. You can deliver content in different formats: videos, voiceover slides, audio, text, and panel discussions. And design all course elements for accessibility. Using universal design for learning approaches to course design and teaching ensures that all students will be able to demonstrate their learning without unnecessary challenges unrelated to the academic content of the course. In conclusion, student engagement in online classes can be improved through instructor communication, curriculum design, class atmosphere, and technology use. We hope you find this workshop helpful. To learn more and to register for workshops, visit www.iit.edu/CLI. Thank you.